Welcome to Problem Solving, a valuable interpersonal skill workshop. On the agenda today, there will be an introduction, followed by a definition for problem solving, in particular for the workplace, complementing skills that you need when you are doing some problem solving, components of a problem, what are the objectives, what are the obstacles, a problem-solving scenario where you will learn how to define the problem, generate solutions, evaluate and choose a solution, and then implement and follow up on that solution. And then we return to the problem-solving scenario. I have some questions for your reflection and our conclusion. So welcome to this session. The pre-recorded session is provided by Next Steps Employment Centers, which are operated by the Toronto District School Board and externally funded by Employment Ontario. So what is problem solving? When you break it down, what does that actually mean? It's considered a process or steps, actions taken to find solutions for difficult or complex issues. As an example, from 2005 until 2025, the province of Ontario is completing changes to fulfill the mandated statute. The acronym is AODA, and it stands for Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. So some of the things that the changes that have been made, there's a focus on making life more accessible for persons with disabilities. And some of those changes include things like audio. I don't know if you've noticed this, but with traffic lights, you can actually hear about the changes going on as well as seeing them. If you have sight issues, a lot of places now have large screen monitors, for instance, libraries. I know at our employment center, we have larger monitors for people who have sight issues. Government agencies as well, such as Service Canada. When you are problem solving, you are using more skills than that one. You have what's called complementing skills that accompanying your problem solving. And they provide a lot of assistance to the main function of problem solving, such as creativity. So creativity helps you solve a problem when you have already approached that problem systematically. So systematic problems, step by step by step, when that doesn't work, you need an alternative. And it's used by people who already understand their subject. For instance, let's say you understand mechanical engineering, or it could be logistics, it could even be counseling. But now it's time for you to use your intuition and also to let ideas flow in without censorship. Research, this is another complementing skill. This allows you to gather information from many sources, and the act of researching is you learning and collating new facts that lead to solutions. Collaboration, working in partnership with others, it is valuable for you to reach out to other people, get more people involved in the problem-solving process, because everyone thinks differently, and those differences lead to breakthroughs. Decision-making is a skill all of us use on a daily basis, but many of us are cautious about using in the workplace since the wrong decision can cost the company money and harm your reputation. So what is needed is good judgment, because good judgment prevents critical mistakes, and it is a result of several years' experience through experimenting, study, and making mistakes that you learn from and no longer repeat. Emotional intelligence, this is something that hasn't been spoken of quite as much as the other previous skills that I've mentioned. But emotional intelligence is something that you need when you are making changes, when you are coming up with solutions to problems, because people are affected by the choices that are made. And We're looking for people to be comfortable, to be cooperative with changes. We've had some dramatic changes in the workplace over the last decade in particular. So how will people feel about the possible solutions that you are considering and offering them? You want to be mindful of that. Assessing risk. There will always be something unforeseen that comes up. Is it a deal breaker or can it be managed so the solution is still usable and the best choice? So the components of a problem, a problem has two pieces. It has the objective or more than one objective and any obstacles. So you have to ask yourself, what is the objective or goal you hope to achieve by solving this problem? And also take a look at short-term solutions as well as long-term solutions. Are there any obstacles currently preventing you from solving this problem? Here's a problem-solving scenario for you to consider. You, as the warehouse supervisor, are responsible for giving a bonus to warehouse workers who have perfect attendance during the month. One employee missed one day due to attending the funeral of a family member. Later in your office, the employee begins to cry and says they desperately need that bonus to pay rent. The written rules are clearly stated. The bonus is for perfect attendance. However, you have the authority to make exceptions to the rule. What will you do? When you are breaking down a problem and trying to figure out how to best approach it so that you can implement a solution, these are the steps you need to take. You need to define what the problem actually is. Then generate as many possible solutions as you can. After that, you're going to evaluate all the possibilities and you're going to choose the best solution. Once you've done that, you're going to implement that solution and do some follow-up over time to see how well the solution is working and if it needs any kind of tweaks. So defining the problem is your first step. So get the facts, not opinions. Oh, I heard this, somebody said that, oh, I don't know if that'll work. Opinion is not what we want here. We want to get facts. We want to know what is what. Name any underlying causes, any expectations, exceptions to the rules when defining your problem. Talk with everyone involved and ask for information from each person. Be precise about what the problem is. So not too broad. Focus in on what it is and address that. 2 is to generate solutions. So generate several possible solutions without judging or immediately choosing one. Include all relevant parties in the solutions process. Maintain solutions that are within company mandates. So we can't choose solutions that the company is not going to support. If it's outside of what the company's policy, the regulations are, you're not going to be able to use that. Have specific steps for short-term and long-term solutions. And finally, brainstorm on the ideas to gain the best choice of solution. So during a brainstorming session, it's very important not to censor people with your body language, your facial expression, any kind of comments like, oh yeah, that'll work. You know, those kinds of things, they're all dampeners to other people's enthusiasm and willingness to participate in the whole experience. So try and remain open-minded and watch your tone and your body language and your facial expression so that people feel comfortable and safe to say whatever comes into their head. And you do get some fantastic ideas that way. 3 is to evaluate and choose a solution. So you're going to compare your possible solutions to a standard as defined by your company's policy or requirements. So there will be situations where this has been a problem in the past, maybe another decade, and what they did at the time, and then do a comparison, because today is not necessarily identical to yesteryear. So you might need to adapt something, but take a look at it. It's good to do comparing. Also, evaluate without bias. So with a focus on the objective, what's the benefit of each solution? Try not to get overly invested in one solution over another simply because you like it. You need to look at things unbiased, neutral. Evaluate a proven outcome versus a possible outcome. So if you do have something from the past that you can look at, even if it's not from your organization, something very similar in another organization, you can do that comparison and think about which do you think will be better, because possible is not already done. And be precise in which solution you choose and why. In particular, if you're answering to people in higher authority than yourself, you want to be very clear on why you chose that, especially if, say, it's going to cost more money, it's going to take longer. Those kinds of questions have to be addressed ahead of time. Number 4 is to implement and follow up. So you're going to plan out the steps needed, and then you will implement your solution. You're also going to get some feedback about this solution and how it is working from those affected by it. So you've implemented the solution, you're going around, let's see, in the warehouse, and you're finding out, is this procedure, the solution that you've now got, how's it working for people? What do people have to say? And then from that, you're going to determine who accepts the solution and who is in agreement it is a good or even best choice. After that, more time passes, you're probably going to have to make small changes and improvements. And also, you're going to have to evaluate long-term results once the chosen solution has been in place for the optimum length of time. So the problem-solving scenario that we talked about earlier, some of my questions for you include, did you choose to give the absentee employee the bonus? If yes, why? And if no, why not? So right away, you have to think to yourself, you're comparing, well, these are the rules. Rules are written, supposed to be perfect attendance. But then the reason the employee was not there was for a funeral of a family member. You have to weigh the information or not. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's very simple from your point of view. If you didn't offer the bonus to the employee, did you offer them something else? Did you give them an alternative? So as supervisor, you could offer the employee overtime hours to temporarily increase their income. So that's one possible solution. Another is a pay advance. So those are a couple of things. You may have some extra ideas about what you could offer. Take that over. And my last question for you is, do you think attending a funeral of a family member is the same as having, say, a sick day? Would you judge these two reasons in the same way? So in conclusion, when you are required to solve a problem, remember you have options to consider before you finalize your choice. Take the time, get the facts, and remember people are involved and are affected by these decisions. People are far more cooperative when you are invited to participate by contributing to their thoughts and ideas to your problem-solving process. Thank you for attending. We have many more recorded sessions, and of course we have live webinars as well. Please feel free to register for those. Thank you.